All right, let's talk about strength. Today, we are getting right under the barbell to figure out what getting strong really means. We're going to bust some of those classic gym myths and really look at the science of how your body builds strength, pulling from a really solid 2018 review by Suchomel and his team. Okay, let's get into it.
So what is it? I mean, what really makes you strong? Is it just about having the biggest biceps on the beach? Or putting up the most weight in the gym? Well, the answer is way more interesting than you might think. It's not just about the muscle itself.
The research gives us this perfect way to think about it. Strength is basically a two-part system. First, you've got the engine, right? That's your actual muscle. Its size, its physical makeup, that's the hardware. But then, and this is crucial, you have the computer, your central nervous system. This is the software that tells the engine how to work, when to fire, and how hard to push. Real strength is all about making both of them better.
So why does this engine and computer thing even matter? Because, as the researchers say, max strength isn't just the destination, it's the vehicle. It's the thing that drives all your other athletic skills, like how fast you can be explosive, your power. You got to build the vehicle first, and then you can take it anywhere you want to go.
Okay, so if strength is this engine and computer combo, how do we upgrade them? Well, the body has two main ways of getting stronger. You can either make the engine bigger, or you can make the computer smarter. Let's dig into how that actually works.
First up, you've got what are called morphological factors. That's the bigger engine piece of the puzzle. It sounds fancy, but morphological just means it has to do with the physical structure of things. So we're talking about actual physical changes, the big one being hypertrophy, which is just a scientific term for your muscle fibers getting bigger. A bigger muscle just has more potential to create force. It's that simple. But then there are the neural factors. This is the smarter muscles part, and this explains that amazing thing you see when someone gets way stronger without actually getting much bigger. What's happening is your brain is literally upgrading its software. It's getting way more efficient at using the muscle you already have.
So how do your muscles get smarter? Well, it pretty much comes down to these three key upgrades. First, your brain learns to recruit more workers. It gets better at firing up more of your motor units when you need to lift something heavy. Second, it increases the firing speed. Those workers start doing their jobs faster. And third, it learns how to get them all to work in sync, all at the same time. More workers, working faster, all together. That's the secret sauce for neurostrength.
Okay, knowing the why is awesome, but let's talk about the how. It's time to get practical. We're going to look at different training methods like their specialized tools in a toolkit because, you wouldn't use a hammer when you need a screwdriver.
This chart gives us a really nice, clean look at which tools are best for which job. Just look at a few of them. You can see weightlifting is a fantastic all-arounder, great for strength and power. But now look at plyometrics. It's the absolute king for developing power, but it's not going to do a whole lot for building muscle size. And then you have eccentric training, where you're focused on the lowering part of a lift. Check that out. It's a top-tier tool for both building muscle and max strength.
So the huge takeaway here, the thing you really need to get, is that there's no single best way to train. A really smart program doesn't just stick with one thing. It intelligently mixes and matches different tools from the toolkit to build a complete athlete who isn't just strong, but is also powerful and resilient.
And speaking of tools, one of the most basic choices you have to make is between bilateral and unilateral exercises. Bilateral means using two limbs, like a back squat. This lets you move the most possible weight because you're way more stable, and the research is clear. This is the best platform for building raw maximal strength. Unilateral, on the other hand, is single limb stuff. It's less stable, so you can't lift as heavy, but it's fantastic for supporting those main lifts and ironing out any imbalances.
Okay, let's see how all of this comes together to form the actual blueprint for your workouts. We're moving from the tools themselves to the instruction manual on how to use them, and we're going to cover some of the biggest debates you hear in the gym. Here it is, the big one. You see it constantly, right? That person grinding out that last wobbly rep until the bar just won't move another inch. But is going to total muscular failure actually necessary to get stronger? Well, the research gives us a really clear verdict here. Nope. In fact, it might actually be working against you. Pushing to failure on every single set creates a ton of fatigue, which can hurt the quality of your next sets and even raise your risk of injury. For pure strength, stopping a rep or two short of failure is just the smarter, more effective way to go. So if we're not grinding out every set, how much work should we actually do? The science shows there's a pretty clear dose-response relationship here. Doing multiple sets is always better than just doing one. But the right dose really depends on you.
If you're newer to lifting, 2 or 3 good, high-quality sets might be perfect. But if you're a more advanced lifter, you might need more like 4 to 6 sets to keep making progress. It's all about finding that sweet spot.
And what about the time you spend between those sets? This is so often overlooked, but man, is it crucial. If your goal is max strength and power, longer rest periods are just flat out better. We're talking a full 2 to 5 minutes. This gives your energy systems enough time to recharge so you can give 100% effort on your next set. And that maximum effort is what really triggers those strength gains.
You know, your training focus also needs to change as you get stronger. For someone who's just starting out or is relatively weaker, the priority is dead simple: build the foundation. The main goal should be just getting stronger, period. But for those more experienced, stronger athletes, the game changes. Once you've built that strong base, you can start to shift your focus to turning that strength into explosive, sport-specific power.
So when does that shift happen? Is there like a magic number? Well, kinda. The research actually gives us a really handy benchmark to shoot for. Studies suggest that once an athlete can back squat more than 2 times their own body weight, the benefits of continuing to only focus on pure strength start to go down, and you get a much bigger bang for your buck by shifting your focus over to power training. It's a great goal to have in mind.
All right, let's tie this all together. What are the big things to remember? Number 1, true strength is a team effort between your muscles and your brain, a bigger engine run by a smarter computer. Number 2, you need a whole toolkit of training methods for the best results. 3, training to failure is not the magic bullet you think it is. 4, rest longer than you probably are right now, 2 to 5 minutes for heavy sets. And finally, build that foundation of maximal strength first, then start chasing power.
And that really brings us to the final idea. Strength is the base of the pyramid for just about every other athletic quality you can think of. So once you've put in the work, once you've built that solid foundation, the real question is, what incredible thing are you going to build on top of it? Thanks for tuning in to this explainer.